Thank you.
I've been saying my whole life to my children, find your path to God. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm very proud. Through my life, I found myself sometimes feeling just...
Never expect a parent like Kody Brown to say, "I'm proud of you," unconditionally. Because for him, pride comes with strings attached. Obedience, compliance, and loyalty. And if you don't fit the mold, don't hold your breath. Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to ThreadoraTalks, where the conversations are always next level. I'm your host, Christopher. And today, we're turning things up a notch. Trust me, this is one video you do not want to miss, so let's dive right in. Has Kody ever said he's proud of any of his other kids? Watching this again, I realized I don't think Kody has ever told any of his other children that he's proud of them. The only time he seemed to even come close was when Hunter won that big wrestling tournament. But honestly, it felt more like Kody was reliving his own glory days than genuinely celebrating Hunter's success. He's always treated his kids, especially his sons, like extensions of himself, living vicariously through their achievements. That's classic Kody. As for his daughters, I can't recall a single moment of real pride. Maybe when he gave them away at their weddings? He was practically preening in that tiny kilt at Aspen's wedding, but it was more about showing off than about her. Maddie's marriage. Sure, he looked proud, but only because he got to officiate and knight Caleb, not because he was celebrating her big life step. That whole knighting ceremony was ridiculous, a blatant narcissistic power play on a day that should have been about her. Kody only seems proud when the kids follow his rules. Compliance equals approval in his book. The baptism scene was painfully obvious. Aurora, a grown woman, nervously asking permission and crying as if she's a child. She's not joining a church, just trying to please Kody. And he's soaking it in like he finally got what he wanted. Loyalty. Meanwhile, Garrison served in the military, put himself through nursing school, bought a house, and was a great big brother. Yet he never seemed to get that proud moment from Kody. The kids who actually did things on their own terms, they got cold-shouldered. If Kody had ever said, "I'm proud of you," to Garrison, maybe things would have been different. Aurora, Brianna, and Ariella seem to be the only ones who get unconditional approval, and only as long as they stay obedient. The second a kid stands up to Kody, they're out. His pride in his daughters lasts only as long as they conform. He wants loyalty, not independence. He started out loving and involved when the kids were young and dependent, but once they grew up and stopped blindly following him, he shut them out. It's exhausting to watch a father demand loyalty and offer conditional love, then act bewildered when his kids pull away. Losing Garrison seemed to genuinely affect him, at least for that baptism scene where he looked sad and older. But knowing Kody, he probably still sees himself as the victim in all this. At the end of the day, all these kids deserve to hear, "I'm proud of you," without conditions or strings attached. Never come out to your parents like this. If you think dropping a huge truth bomb during a family filming session will go smoothly, think again. Watch how one coming out turns a family upside down in ways no one expected. Watching Leon's coming out episode brought up a lot of thoughts. As someone who also came out at the same age, I found this episode very difficult to watch. Leon was very standoffish and didn't give their mom a real chance to process or ask questions. Although Leon said they were willing to answer questions, they seemed offended by my almost jaw was everyone. Questions like, "Are you still going to get married?" or "Are you still going to have kids?" These are completely legitimate and come from a place of concern and love. It would have helped reassure their mom, Meri. Meri's reaction was understandably emotional. Leon is her only biological child, and she didn't see this coming. She never explicitly said she had a problem with it, just that she was sad that they hadn't been close enough to talk about it earlier. Of course, Kody and Robyn were less understanding. Kody has many other children who might live more traditional lives, and Robyn has those opportunities herself. Meri deserved a private conversation and the chance to ask tricky questions without being shamed or put on the spot, especially given how shocking this must have been for her. You can see the pain in her during that conversation, as she's processing the reality that her child is gay and that her family dynamic is changing drastically. Leon was in a difficult place with their mom at that time, and the family conversation felt like a deliberate way to catch Meri off guard, possibly as a form of punishment or expression of anger related to the catfishing scandal. Meri did her best under the circumstances, given that Leon had previously expressed interest in plural marriage. The reaction was not unreasonable, considering how much she had to absorb in a short time. It's unclear why the conversation happened on camera, but given that the family's life was largely filmed, it might have felt like the only option. Leon's anger toward Meri seems to have influenced the timing and manner of the announcement, and that strained their relationship further. Kody and Robyn's reactions appeared supportive on camera, but it's important not to expect every family member to react the same way. Even if they were supportive outwardly, real feelings can be more complex, as demonstrated later when Kody distanced himself from Leon. For Meri, learning that her child was gay was not just about sexuality. It was also about coming to terms with how the catfishing had damaged their relationship and feeling like she had failed as a mother. Growing up in a traditional and sheltered environment, the future she envisioned for Leon was dramatically different. It's also important to note that Leon's personality and attitude contributed to the tension. Their standoffish and sometimes condescending tone toward Meri made the process even harder. Leon seemed unable to appreciate the complexity of Meri's feelings or the impact of the family's past issues. Meri had to process not only the revelation about Leon's identity, but also the fact that she was the last to know about many things, including the catfishing and other family secrets. The pressure and disappointment she felt were compounded by the way the information was revealed publicly. The dynamic between Meri and Leon has always been difficult, partly because of these events and partly due to personality clashes. Leon's behavior came across as immature and judgmental, which didn't help the healing process. That said, Meri herself has expressed regret for how she handled the situation, acknowledging that she needed time to process and sometimes reacted poorly. This episode highlights how coming out can be complicated in families, especially those with a history of trauma, traditional values, and complex relationships. It takes time for everyone to adjust, and it's important to give space for questions and emotions without judgment. What if I told you one of the most famous reality dads completely missed out on knowing one of his own daughters? Not only that, but his favoritism and neglect have torn the family apart in ways most people don't even see. This isn't just about parenting, this is about what happens when love gets divided. I've been rewatching The Browns and just got to Maddie and Caleb's wedding prep episode, when Maddie asks Truly to be her flower girl. Truly's response is gracious and genuinely sweet. She clearly loves her older siblings. Kody really missed out by not truly knowing this little girl. It's a huge loss, not just for him to miss out on her love, but for her to miss out on his. Thankfully, Christine married a gentleman like David. Anyone who makes an effort to know Truly is lucky. She's a total hoot. That said, I'm more concerned about Savannah. Truly has a big support system around her. Christine, David, her siblings, and even Janelle's family, while Savannah seems to lack that. She was very young when Robyn had entered the picture and started being ignored. Does Savannah have the same support base? It's unclear. Savannah went from being the baby to getting lost in the shuffle. She was also closer in age to Robyn's girls, so instead of Kody integrating Savannah, he pushed her aside, always having Aurora or Brianna close by. Savannah tried to speak up on several occasions, but was often interrupted or ignored. When Maddie asked Truly to be her flower girl, Savannah wasn't even asked to be a junior bridesmaid. It was said that Savannah was too shy or it wasn't her thing, but that feels like an excuse. Truly's situation is very different. Her mother is maternal and emotional, surrounded by family and now David's family. She has always had nurturing adults around who didn't idolize Kody, so his absence didn't feel like as much of a loss. Savannah's mother is less emotional and more stoic. Savannah has mostly brothers, with her only sister living far away. When Kody distanced himself, Savannah felt the void much more acutely. It's not fair to say Christine is more supportive than Janelle, just because she's more maternal, or to suggest brothers are less supportive than sisters. Savannah has been affected more by Kody's distance, but she now lives near Maddie in North Carolina and has family support. Janelle openly stated she wasn't interested in being a stay-at-home mom, preferring to work. That doesn't make her a worse parent, just different. Kody missed out on connecting with all the kids who aren't Robyn's, especially his daughters. He admitted he didn't know how to relate to his girls or even his boys. The pattern of favoring sons until they become teenagers, then pushing them away, reflects toxic and abusive cult dynamics. The bike riding incident with Truly was especially telling. Kody was verbally abusive and forced her beyond her limits, controlling the bike and dismissing her fears. Years later, her brother-in-law Mitch taught her patiently and gently, a complete contrast. Christine's decision to move away was to protect her relationship with Kody, so he wouldn't ignore or mistreat her. Watching David and Truly drive together during a long move showed the close bond she had with her stepdad, exactly what she needed. Meanwhile, Kody focused on Robyn and her kids, neglecting his biological daughters who clearly adore their stepdad. He didn't even show emotion when Truly was near death or comfort Christine in her pain. Truly is smart, funny, and well-loved, qualities that Kody seems to overlook entirely. Kody's inability to connect with his children isn't just neglect. It's heartbreaking. His demand for 50% custody was likely to avoid paying child support rather than to build meaningful relationships. Even when Christine offered time for him to engage with Truly, he failed to show up emotionally. The show makes it obvious. Kody favors Robyn's kids and treats the others like afterthoughts. That's painful, especially given the genuine goodness of kids like Truly, Logan, and Saul. Raising so many kids is difficult, and most people know 4 is a lot. But Kody wasn't equipped for this. Christine struggled postpartum, and Kody was caught in a midlife crisis with Robyn, avoiding the pain he caused. His behavior suggests narcissistic traits. He likely believes he's the one being abandoned. In reality, the kids know who truly supports them. David, for example, is the rock in Truly's life. It's important to acknowledge the dads who step up. Kody's story is a reminder of how not to be a father. What if I told you the most popular sister wives storyline isn't real, and the 2 people you're supposed to root for are actually the biggest villains? For years, Kody and Robyn have been manipulating their family and the show's narrative. And it's finally time someone exposed the truth no one else will say out loud. Sister Wives has made me seethe with anger more than any other reality show. I have to fast forward through any time Robyn or Kody are speaking, because they rewrite reality every week in the most infuriating way. Seeing Aurora leave the Mormons and Kody making it about himself was so gross. I never saw him hug his own kids like that. He's vile. And the way Robyn smiles at him while he's being that way makes me lose my mind. Narcissism is so dangerous. I find myself cussing at Kody and Robyn when I watch. It's like a train wreck. You can't stop watching even though you hate it. These 2 have taken advantage of 3 very nice women and their children. Kody represents everything I hate about today's selfish, misogynistic, and cruel politics. He's greedy, narcissistic, and uses his position to manipulate and control. Robyn is a covert narcissist, just as selfish and greedy as Kody. spending all the family money and turning the children against the other wives. Together, they're a destructive force. The children, especially the ones still with them, seem to be suffering terribly. The OG wives, Meri, Janelle, and Christine, were the heart of the family, but Kody and Robyn's behavior has wrecked those relationships. It's painful to watch the ongoing manipulation, lies, and blatant disregard for the other kids apart from a select few. Kody and Robyn have stolen money from the family account, living lavishly off the show's success while the others struggle. This show has lost its fun, becoming about a soap opera filled with manufactured drama and emotional abuse. It's clear that Kody and Robyn thrive on being the villains. Watching them triggers so much anger and frustration because their actions are so cruel and selfish. The OG wives and kids deserve better. It's heartbreaking to see how the family dynamic has fallen apart because of these two narcissists. I've had to stop watching at times because the show makes me so angry and stressed. The manipulation and cruelty are exhausting, and it's hard to watch the damage it does to the children and wives involved. If the show focused on the family's journey away from Mormon fundamentalism and their struggle to find themselves, it might be more meaningful. Instead, it feels like an endless cycle of conflict and misery, engineered for drama. The show needs to be honest about how damaging this lifestyle can be, especially under Kody and Robyn's control. All right, now I want to hear from you. Sound off in the comments and let me know where you stand. Agree, disagree, or something in between? And if you're enjoying the vibe, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're always in the loop. Your voice counts, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for hanging with me.